traumatic stress specialist, and I'm also probably one of the best trained people in TFT. I've maybe met some of you at trainings before. I want to talk for just a few minutes about traumatic stress because it's an issue that's out there so much right now. I want to warn you that while we know how to stop many of the symptoms immediately, most of the symptoms immediately, that a lot of time people get confused because they say, well, why aren't I totally better now? Part of that is understanding what PTSD is and understanding that traumatic stress comes in a lot of different forms. I've been doing this work for a long time, probably over 30 years, and I've worked in traumatic stress in all different fields. And what you have to understand is that traumatic stress can be just one event that gets stuck in your head and you just need some help getting those images out. TFT is great for that. It may be a series of images that you have to work on getting out of someone's head, and TFT is great for that. The problem comes when people don't understand that if you've been living in a violent situation, if you've been living with this for a lifetime, that your lifestyle is oriented towards living in fear, and that's something that has to be addressed. So I want to just take a couple minutes and help you understand the way I look at it. And I use the concept of NOW, and NOW stands for no open wounds. Simply what that means is if you have open traumatic stress wounds, you're going to be taking care of them, you're going to be focused on them, and they take control of your life because you can't react. Just like if you have an open cut, you're aware of it at all times and you do things to protect that cut, you do things so that it doesn't get injured again. At an emotional level, the same thing happens. The beauty of TFT is that it helps you be able to close those open wounds almost immediately. And you are no longer being in a situation where you have to react or think about how you protect that or how you protect yourself in that same way. The difficulty comes is that for some people, once the healing is in place, it's fine, you're done. The difficulty is for those people who, once the healing begins, there are other things that have to take place. And in traumatic stress, that means that you have to understand that wounds are sometimes more than just on the surface, and that even though you can close that one, there may be more. Traumatic stress is cumulative. By that, it simply means that the more of it that you have, the more susceptible you are to it, and at some point it can become overwhelming. TFT, again, helps you close the open wounds, helps you be able to address some of the underlying blocks to healing, but you need to understand that there's a number of steps. So once you navigate past those open wounds and you can get through the hazards, the standard symptoms with PTSD, then the next step is that you have to be able to look back at the event, to observe it, to make sense out of it. That's who we are as human beings. And so you have to take the time to review what went on, and you also have to add some information about what's the normal process. What's the difference between a reaction and a response? What's the difference between acting in a life and death way without thought and consciously choosing something? Then after you've come to some understanding of that and you're more comfortable with that's happened, you can begin to incorporate it in your life, which simply means you can now start working on making your life better with some integrity. Integrity simply means that you're in a state of wholeness, that you're not fragmented, and that you can make sense out of your life. Integrity also means that you're operating within a set of principles or values in a way that's congruent with who you are. And many times people have traumatic stress and they have long-term violence or they have severe, prolonged exposures. They find themselves often acting in ways that are not incongruent with their values and beliefs. Thought field therapy closes the wounds. Once you do that, you can navigate through all the other symptoms of post-traumatic stress. Then you can begin to observe what's going on and make some sense out of what's happened to you, an important human activity. Then you can begin working those conscious choices about what you want to do with your life, what's important to you, and what are the lessons that you take from what you've experienced, how you want to share with other people, and or not. And it's your experience that you get to be in control of. And that's what it's about, is bringing people back to a state of control. So the concept of now is really key to understanding what I do with people with traumatic stress. Now means no open wounds, and now means to be able to navigate. That's the N. The O is to observe and understand, and the W is to work your life with integrity. and to live in a state of integrity. So that's just kind of an overview quickly of some of the things you need to pay attention to when working with somebody who comes to you with severe traumatic stress. If you need more information, if you want more information, if you have comments for me, please go to my website, which is www.rlbray.com. And also you can go to my other site, which is noopenwounds.com. I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope this is helpful to you. Bye-bye.